Hey everybody, it's Cam, the paraplegic shootist here. It's January 28th of 2024. Today's one of those, bittersweet days for me. It's 20 years ago to this day that I got paralyzed during my back surgery. I had muscular dystrophy along with scoliosis, and I needed to get my spine straightened. My doctor was Dr. Douglas Burton. He's over at KU Medical Center. I had him from 9 to 13. He recommended that we do the surgery while I was young, so I healed up faster. So we agreed to it. We set up the appointment for January 28th of 2004. I remember going in that day and not being scared whatsoever because I knew I was going in to get fixed. Well, that clearly wasn't the case. I went in and did the surgery. The doctor came out, said everything was fine. He later on did the test to see if I could feel my legs, feet, toes, etc. Well, come to find out, I couldn't. He then pulls my entire family, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa, all into a room and admits to everyone that he paralyzed me, and he paralyzed me from the nipple line down. And to tell you the truth, I would much rather it happen to me because I was going to end up in a wheelchair no matter what, than a kid or a teenager that was going to be able to walk or run, later, or the rest of their life, I should say. And I would much rather take their place than it happened to them. But anyways, this video is more or less about these doctors and corporations being held accountable for the mistakes that they make or made, like Dr. Douglas Burton did with me. My mom, like I said, this isn't about money, I swear, because I don't have money. We live off my mom's check. It's paycheck to paycheck. I get paid one time a month, and that's that. I mean, we have a roof over our head, food in our belly, so, we're living an okay life. So this ain't about money, but my mom went to 4 different lawyers, and all 4 lawyers turned her down. And 2 of them was actually working with Dr. Douglas Burton on a different case, and they instantly told her no because it was a conflict of interest. And, that sort of disappointed her because she felt that I pretty much deserved getting the malpractice money because of the mistake that he made on me. And I remember waking up weeks later and Dr. Burton coming into the room with sweatpants on, a hoodie, and a scruffy face. And he looks at me, and you can tell it was sort of eating him up, and he looks at me and he says, "You're my first mistake ever." And being 13 years old and a professional, a doctor, a surgeon of his level, telling you that you're his first mistake ever, That's a hard pill to swallow. I think it'd be a hard pill for anyone to swallow. And anyone that says otherwise is probably full of shit. But he told me, it was his first mistake ever. And my health was complete shit after I got paralyzed. I mean, complete shit. So, anyways, I needed to get my rods put back in, and I never seen my great-grandpa, met my great-grandpa, never seen a picture of my great-grandpa while I went to go get my rods put back in. And needless to say, I seen my great-grandpa, and I believe that I died on that table that day. And I don't know truthfully if I did, but if I didn't die on that table that day, I came pretty damn close to it. Because how do you explain what I seen if you didn't? Anyways, I came out, and when I sort of came to, I wasn't fully came to because of the drugs. I told my mom I seen my great-grandpa, and she said or I said I seen Grandpa, and she said there was no way Grandpa wasn't up there, and I said no, I seen great-grandpa, and she said, Cam, there's no way he's dead, which he died the year I was born, and he also had a lot of health issues like I did, the pneumonia and all that, which I was in and out of the hospital all the time for pneumonia and dehydration and all that. Anyway, she called my grandparents and told my grandparents, and they said, well, we have one picture, and it's in our lockbox, and we'll guarantee he's never seen it. And they brought the picture up the next day, and needless to say, my mom started crying, and it's exactly who I explained. So, God was, I believe God was on my side on that day. God kept me here for a reason, and I thank God every day for that. So, anyways, back to the whole lawyer ordeal. I wanted to say that part real quick, but back to the whole lawyer ordeal. My dad, he was an alcoholic, and he had a friend that got hurt on the railroad, and he had a lawyer that was an out-of-state lawyer, and he hooked me up with that lawyer, and I contacted him and, explained to him what was going on, this, that, and the other, and he said that my statute of limitations had ran out. And he said, well, why didn't you contact a lawyer beforehand? And I told him, my mom did, and 4 lawyers turned her away. And he said that they should have recommended her getting an out-of-state lawyer. So that right there shows that these doctors and giant corporations and lawyers are all in cahoots with one another. So, my point is if you, a family member, or a friend, anybody, if they get hurt by a doctor or by a giant corporation, make them be held accountable for the mistake they make or made. I would love to know if I was truly Dr. Burton's first mistake ever, or if he just said that. And I would also like to know, since it's been 20 years ago, if he has made more mistakes like he did with me since then, and if those people that he hurt after me, if he wasn't held accountable for them either. And if he wasn't, that shows right there that these corporations will do anything and everything they have to protect their best doctors, their best surgeons, etc. But that's just sort of something I would like to know. Maybe I shouldn't want to know that, but I do. But anyways, like I said, we live sort of paycheck to paycheck, and you know, I've had shit health my entire life, and my mom has been there to try to keep me healthy. She's dealt with wounds and everything else, and my mom and I fight like cats and dogs, like an old married couple, but if we get in a huge fight one day, we'll still tell each other at the end of that day that we love one another. And my mom, I feel she deserves a better life than what she does, and I wish I could give her that better life. And I know she would say, and other mothers would say, oh, it's a mother's job to take care of their children, but she has a lot harder job than a lot of other mothers out there, and a lot of other mothers would have put their kids in a nursing home by now, and she hasn't done that, and that just shows and proves how strong of a woman she is, because she's literally put her life on hold for me, and she shouldn't have to do that. At least that's what I think. But, if I guess what I wish, well, I shouldn't say I wish, I guess I'm just saying, if we would have got the money that technically I deserved, maybe I didn't deserve it, I don't know, but the money that, let me rephrase that, if we would have had the money that I should have gotten for the mistake that Dr. Burton has made, we would have been living a little bit more comfortable life than what we're living now, and I really truly do want these doctors and corporations to be held accountable for every little thing, I'm sure KU Medical Center has done great by a lot of people. I'm not saying every doctor over there is bad, horrible, evil, etc., I know there's a lot of great doctors over there. For instance, I know of one, he was my doctor, Dr. Lauer, over there at KU Medical Center. He's a great doctor, and I would highly recommend him. But at the end of the day, KU protects their people, and I understand why they do it, but they should be held accountable, especially when they make a life as hard as they did mine, because my life is a hard life to live, and I thank God still that I don't deal with depression, or anything else. Back when it all first happened, I will admit that I got really dark thoughts, but, I thought about the people who loved me, and that's what kept me going. So, yeah, if someone gets hurt by a doctor or whatnot, you can try an in-state lawyer, but I'm here telling you, make sure you get an out-of-state lawyer if those in-state lawyers turn you down, because if you get hurt or someone gets hurt, they deserve what they get hurt for, like, they deserve something out of it. That's all there is to it. But anyways, that's that. And remember, my people out there with disabilities, you're not handicapped. You're what? You're handicapable. And truthfully, I wish this message video would get back to Dr. Burton, Dr. Douglas Burton at KU Medical Center, because there is so much I would like to say to him, because when he told me I was his first mistake ever, he looked right at me and he said, "You're going to be my patient for the rest of your life and my life, and I promise I will take care of you." Well, here I am 20 years later, and I ain't heard a damn peep from him, so his promise didn't mean shit. And that's all there is to it. So, yeah, that's that. I'm telling you now, if you go to KU, just be a little leery of the power they have, because they have a ton of it, and that's a promise. Because like I said, 20 years ago, they're nowhere near what they are nowadays, and they're absolutely gigantic nowadays. So that's that. I hope everybody's having a great day. This is the Paraplegic Shootist, out.